All right, good Tuesday morning, everyone, and welcome to KSAT News Now. This is our digital newscast where we talk about today's trending news in a bite-sized format.
Oh, you got that. That's important. Bite-size.
Yeah.
So you can watch it Monday through Friday at 11 on all of our digital platforms. That's YouTube, KSAT Plus, KSAT.com. And best of all, there's also a podcast which you can access any way you listen.
Yeah, hit us with that like, rate, and subscribe also for our KSAT News Now podcast. And of course, today is Mardi Gras, which is also Fat Tuesday. I just learned right now, thanks to the amazing Sarah Spivey, that Mardi Gras actually translates French, right? To Fat Tuesday. Okay.
You learned something new, RJ.
We do learn a lot of new things here. So yeah, a lot of people are coming off of the holiday yesterday and maybe getting ready to celebrate tonight for Fat Tuesday.
Yes, and then we also learned, obviously, that Mardi Gras is going to be the celebration before the Lenten season begins, which is tomorrow. So we're going to be talking more about that. And we also have some entertainment and a popular Whataburger menu item that's making a big return.
All right, yes, I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of old school Whataburger fans are happy about this one here. We also want to later on discuss two San Antonio companies that are getting recognized by Forbes. So this is a nice list to be on. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit.
Yes, but first we just want to get right to the top story. There's a renewed push for the search to find Lina Khil.
That's right, and of course this is more than a year that has now gone by since her disappearance, and there's now a new composite sketch of what she may look like as a 5-year-old.
Yes, Lina first disappeared in December 2021. She was last seen at a playground at the Villas del Cabo apartment complex on Fredericksburg Road. She was 3 at the time, and today she's 5.
Yeah, hard to believe it's been this long. So this sketch was created by artist Lois Gibson, who happens to hold a record in the Guinness World Books, or the Guinness Book of World Records, for the world's most successful forensic artist. So definitely someone here that is very well known in this industry.
Yes, her sketches have helped identify more than 750 criminals, and now Lina's family hopes that she can help them out as well.
All right, so if you're watching us on the visual platforms, we mentioned KSAT Plus, KSAT.com, you can see the distinction from some of the photos that we have been using to find Lina, some of the initial flyers when she was just a toddler. So now these new sketches show what she may look like in the present as a little girl, again, just a 5-year-old girl, what she would be right now.
Yes, and so if you're listening to the podcast, you can find this composite sketch on our website, KSAT.com, and you'll want to go there because the goal is actually to have this picture shared more than 10,000 times. They're asking you to use the hashtag 10,000 shares for Lina, and of course, if you have any information on her whereabouts, on her disappearance, you can call SAPD's Missing Persons Unit. That's 210-207-7660.
Yeah, again, just one of these stories that we continue to follow because it was at the time, I mean, just hard to believe that she can just disappear from this apartment playground, and still obviously we have the family there, the community still looking for any signs or any clues as to her whereabouts.
Yeah, and one of the organizations that has been helping out in the search for Lina, they did say that there have been a number of tips that have gone into, SAPD and the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, but so far none of them have really turned anything up. So it's been a lot of waiting for an answer. I can't even imagine what her family's going through, but hopefully this sketch will give a better picture, a more accurate look of what she might look like, and we'll just have to see what the outcome is for this.
Right, and of course there's still a reward being offered for any information that leads to information on her case. So again, you can find all this information on our website, KSAT.com. Again, just cannot believe that it's already been almost about a year and a half now that she disappeared.
Yep.
So moving on to some other news here, and this is something that we covered pretty extensively yesterday when we found this out. San Antonio reacting this morning to the death of a Texas icon. That would be B.J. Red McCombs.
Yes, McCombs was a legendary local businessman and sports team owner. His family announced he died on Sunday at the age of 95.
All right, so Mr. McCombs here helped put San Antonio on the map with his ownership, of course, of the Spurs. He also owned the Denver Nuggets at some point, too, who are also in the NBA, and the Minnesota Vikings. And then that just goes on top of all the other business ventures he had here.
Yeah, so his foundation also donated to several local nonprofits, including San Antonio Sports. And he helped found Spurs Give, which has invested millions of dollars into the community.
One of the key priorities that Holmes had was to make a difference in education, get involved with the schools, help raise money for those charitable organizations.
They were dedicated to making sure that the kids in San Antonio in underserved areas had opportunities to succeed.
All right, and that was, you were here there from Russ Bookbinder. He worked with Mr. McCombs when Red was the owner of the Spurs in the late 80s, and again helped start Spurs Give, which at the time was called the Silver and Black Give Back. It was the Spurs Charitable Foundation. And then Jenny Carnes, you heard there, who is the current CEO of San Antonio Sports.
Yeah, so some more reaction to Red's passing. Greg Popovich said, Red was a true icon, a Texas legend. It's impossible to overstate the impact he had on the city of San Antonio.
All right, and this came from the NBA. This was Commissioner Adam Silver, who said that McCombs was a driving force in creating the modern NBA. And I love this line here because this is such a description of what he was. He was an innovator and savvy entrepreneur who never shied away from taking risk. I think that's one thing you hear stories about him, legendary stories, was that he was not afraid to gamble on certain businesses or ventures, including the Spurs, which he reportedly did not even like the game of basketball. He just sort of like, or follow it. He just wanted to bring a professional franchise to San Antonio at the time. And so imagine, I mean,
it's
just
crazy
like,
to see that what it ended up turning out to be, and how he had such a big part of that. But yeah, you mentioned that he really liked to take on these challenges, and the story that we had yesterday, you can watch that on our website. But we heard himself saying, I love to take on a challenge. It's part of his passion, essentially. So yeah, you should really check that. It's more of an in-depth story, but you should check that out on KSAT.com.
Yeah, he was definitely a bit of a gambler and a bit of a wildcat there when it came to, you know, reaching out to different business endeavors. And he also found out through just talking to people about him, helped bring the World's Fair to Hemisphere. So that was in the late 60s, and that was a huge deal here in San Antonio. Basically helped build the downtown area. So Red was all about San Antonio and South Texas, the Longhorns. I mean, what he did for Austin there, the McCombs Business School. So, I mean, just, I don't know. We probably may never see another person here like Red McCombs. I
mean, what an interesting man with an interesting story, and then his legacy, of course, is still going to be, you know, we're going to be feeling his impact for years to come of how he's helped San Antonio, and his organizations will continue helping us.
Was your first car from McCombs dealership?
I think my current one actually is, but yeah, yours?
No, well, not originally from here, so, but I need to go, because I remember that, like, what was the slogan, like, when you deal with Red, the deal gets done.
Yeah.
There we go.
That voice is, like, iconic in my head.
When you deal with Red, yeah. All right, hey, speaking of big-time companies here, moving on here, Forbes and research firm Statista has listed 2 San Antonio-based companies among the 50 best large employers in the United States.
Yes, and at the top of the list, HEB is listed as number 5, and USAA is listed as number 42. So these rankings are based on survey results from 45,000 employees who work at companies that have 5,000 or more employees.
All right, so several other Texas companies here made the top 500 here, and we have a few of them if you're watching us on our visual platforms, but there were 8 that were in the top 100. So this is Texas companies that includes the UT Southwest Medical Center and Southwest Airlines. All right, hanging in there despite all of their, despite all of what they went through here recently. And you know what? Another company that I feel I should have invested in a long time ago, Topgolf.
Oh, yes. I love Topgolf. But yeah, nothing beats my love for HEB, and I feel like that's something everybody in South Texas can relate to. But yeah, HEB, Topgolf, it's where it's at. We actually went to Topgolf for our anniversary back in December, but I like doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so Topgolf, I remember when I worked in Dallas, that was the very first one. And I remember talking to a guy out at a golfing range, just some dude. He was like, hey man, this Topgolf thing I think is really gonna take off. It's gonna be something that a lot of people like to do if you just like to go and just, you know, like whack around a few balls and stuff at the driving range. Yeah, I should have taken that guy's offer because Topgolf is pretty much everywhere.
Are you any good at it though?
No,
I'm no good at it. Yeah, but that's kind of the point. You have to be willing to embarrass yourself.
Fun. Just like to have fun.
The real golfers are like on the range. They're not at Topgolf.
No, they're not at Topgolf. This is, they were just, people are just out there messing around. But yeah, shout out to HEB, as you mentioned. Definitely a beloved grocer and company here in all of South Texas.
No store does more.
Oh, you see, we're just knocking out all the slogans.
All the slogans,
today.
okay. But speaking of entertainment and things fun, so get ready to rock.
Here we
A
go.
legendary rock band Guns N' Roses is coming to San Antonio in the fall, and they recently made the announcement on Twitter with the Almadome's account.
Yeah, all right, we're getting into the jungle. Here we go. So they'll make a stop on their global We're Blank tour. I can't say the word.
You can't, well, it's abbreviated,
It is the
FN. It's 2 letters.
Okay, yeah, we're F.
Back tour.
Tour here in the Alamo City, and this is going to be on September 26th.
So tickets are going to go on sale this Friday at 10 o'clock on Ticketmaster. And this is the first time the band will tour North America since 2021. They're not in this Lifetime tour in 2016 is the 3rd highest grossing tour ever.
All right, awesome. Are you a GNR fan?
I mean, this reminds me of my uncles, so yeah. But yes, to answer your question, yes.
By the way,
Yeah.
that stands for fun.
Yes.
Fun, yes.
Absolutely.
Fun.
Fun tour.
Fun
The
tour.
fun tour, yeah.
We're fun tour.
Yeah, we got Slash. Yeah, here we go. Duff McKagan. And Axl Rose. So it's pretty much the original crew there for Guns N' Roses. They're all
Nice.
gonna be hanging out.
Shredded.
Slash gonna be shredding.
Guys, guess what?
What?
On this day in history, we had the earliest 100-degree day recorded
Oh,
in
Lord.
1996. We got up to 100 degrees
Okay.
for the high temperature today, back in 1996.
Brutal.
Not
It can
ready for
happen. It can happen. In that
Brutal.
morning, by the way, that morning we were at 51. So we saw nearly 50-degree temperature jump in the span of one day.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just goes to show that February can get a little cray-cray. And what we're seeing is across the nation, that is the case. I mean, there is a tale of 2 seasons, winter in the north and summer in the south. See all of the snowfall across parts of the Dakotas? This entire swath of the northern country is either in winter storm warnings or blizzard warnings. Even near Los Angeles, there's some winter storm warnings right now for the higher elevations out there. By the way, parts of this northern tier of the United States could see up to 2 feet of snow. Pretty crazy to contrast what the forecast highs are today across the south. In Laredo, it'll be 91 degrees. It'll be 85 in Orlando, 86 in Dallas, 85 here in San Antonio, and up north struggling to get above freezing. So incredible temperature differences. Just goes to show February can be a bit of a crazy month. As for our weather today, it is warm. It's actually pretty pleasant outside right now. It's just a little humid for me, but pretty nice. Temperatures are going to be climbing into the low 80s this afternoon. Mid 80s this afternoon. We're going to be at 84, 85 degrees in San Antonio. And as we look at neighborhood high temperatures this afternoon, our average is right around 70. So we're going to be some 15 degrees warmer than that here in San Antonio. It'll be 87 in Poteet, 86 in Devine, near 90 degrees in Pleasanton and Uvalde, and even in the hill country where it's often cooler, it'll still be in the low to mid 80s. After we see that high temperature this afternoon, this evening it's going to get pretty windy. By about 10 p.m. we'll have winds from the southeast at 10 to about 15 to 20 miles per hour, and we could see some gusts of up to 35 miles per hour tonight, closer to midnight. Then right around dawn, winds will be slightly calmer, but we do expect a front to move through. That's going to allow for us to see wind gusts of 30 to 35 miles per hour throughout the first part of the day tomorrow. That's going to have a pretty big impact on our fire danger. Let me take you through the futurecast wind gusts. This is a snapshot at about 4 o'clock this morning, tomorrow morning. So as you're sleeping, you may actually hear that wind outside of your door as you're sleeping in your windows. And then by about dawn, again, we expect a brief respite from the wind, but quickly we'll be looking at wind gusts of up to 35 to even up to 40 miles per hour as early as 10 o'clock in the morning. By the evening, we'll be seeing those winds finally calm down. But during the first part of the day, I have to mention, there is going to be pretty high fire danger. This orange color around San Antonio, high fire danger, but the darker oranges and the reds, this is very high to extreme fire danger for areas like Del Rio, Rock Springs, Uvalde, Hondo, because we're going to have those wind gusts of up to 30 miles per hour with low relative humidity. Needless to say, burning tomorrow is not encouraged. And you're going to have to watch out for a few things. This is some tips when it comes to grass fire danger. Try to avoid any kind of burn piles or campfires. Avoid using tools that create sparks like chainsaws. If you wanted to do some yard work, tomorrow's probably not the day for the chainsaw. Dispose of cigarettes properly. If you smoke, don't flick them out of your window when you're driving. That's oftentimes how we see grass fires start. Don't drag trailer chains from the back of your trailer, and don't park vehicles on grass. That last one is important because your car is very hot and could easily catch the grass on fire beneath your vehicle. So just to go through things, tomorrow we're going to be at 87, so windy, warm with low humidity. That's high fire danger day tomorrow, near 90 degrees. Front moves through Wednesday night into Thursday. Our temperatures will be cooler. Right now we're thinking on Thursday about 79 degrees, but Friday we'll have cloudy skies and a high temperature of only 70 degrees. Justin and I were just looking at some of the weather data. Friday could even potentially be cooler than that, depending on where the front settles in. We'll keep you updated. It's going to be a cloudy and cooler day, and then over the weekend, pretty pleasant, a little on the humid side. Highs will be in the 80s. That's good weekend weather in my book, you know, good for people to get outside, enjoy outdoor activities. Unfortunately, no major chances for rain. We are in exceptional drought. It's one of the reasons why fire danger is so high tomorrow.
Yeah.
All these winter grasses are cured by the heat and the dry weather and could easily become fuel for fires, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we need that rain to just come and pour down because spring is almost going to be here like before we know it.
Not
And we
gonna
can't
have
have all
anything
that
to bloom.
dry, crusty
Although I
grass
haven't
outside.
seen quite a few like mountain laurels in bloom,
I have
the
seen
purple
those
grape
blooming.
Kool-Aid plants, and also I've even seen some blue bonnets.
Blue bonnets. You said, oh.
Yeah.
Are you familiar
Purple
with?
grape. No, I like how Sarah.
Yeah, excuse me.
Is that what they're really called? The purple grape?
No, they just
Okay.
smell very fragrant, like
Yeah, I was
bubble
like,
gum or
caught my
something.
attention.
Yes.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm not ready for it to be in the mid 80s, honestly. But what I mean,
I'm not either. I could stick with like 70s, 60. I like a cold day every now and then.
Yeah. And of course, rodeo's wrapping up here the last week, so
Yeah.
should be some nice weather out there for the rodeo. And among other things, that we have a lot going on here. Mardi Gras tomorrow actually is the start of Lent. If you're practice Catholicism or Christianity, yeah, you know it's a big day there. And Whataburger is actually bringing back the Whata Catch sandwich just in time for the season.
Yes, and this is something he was really excited
I know.
about.
I was
so.
like, whoa, childhood, here we go.
So Whataburger said the meals are back on the menu now through April 10th, the day after Easter. And the sandwich is a filet of Alaskan pollock seasoned with panko breadcrumbs, lettuce, tomato, and you cannot forget the tartar sauce, right?
Yes, here we go. Cannot forget that. So Whataburger suggests that adding creamy pepper sauce or cheese for just that little extra flavor. So yeah, I remember going to Whataburger growing up, and I would never actually get the Whataburger. I'd always get these fish sandwiches for some
Really?
reason. I don't know why. It was weird.
I was asking you earlier, so obviously with Lent, it's not just going to be Whataburger that's bringing back, you know, the alternative options, but I don't think I've ever had a fish sandwich from a fast food restaurant.
Okay.
So I need to do a lineup.
Well,
and
Bill
taste
Miller's
test
the
them.
one that always seems to like sell out if you don't go there early enough in the day. Like Bill Miller has their fish sandwich, which tends to, again, like if you're not there earlier, it's gonna be gone by the afternoon. I've experienced that before, but they're pretty good there. Yeah, and what other places have? I know there's a lot of different places that have some fish.
There's a lot, but now all I want are like French
McDonald's.
fries.
There we go, Robert.
Yeah.
The Filet-O-Fish.
Filet of fish.
Which we
Yeah,
talked about.
which we also had that jingle in our head earlier. I won't even do it though.
Not this time?
No, that's
you
what I'm
did. You were
thinking.
good with
Yeah,
Red
yeah.
and the HEB.
But yeah, I am excited to go get something from Whataburger. I don't know if I'll do the fish sandwich, but and a Dr. Pepper or something.
There we go. That sounds good. You're making me hungry. We got lunch coming up here. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for being with us on KSAT News Now on your Tuesday, Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday.
All right. Have a good one, everybody. See you tomorrow at 11 a.m.